Louisiana woman who used Gorilla Glue adhesive in her hair instead of hairspray seeks medical attention. Let me let you in a little secret. Cut your hair off.
Now she's talking about suing.
And go get a counselor. Yeah,
she's like, well,
sure.
It didn't say not to use it on your hair.
Yeah, unreal.
Somebody told me recently.
And by the way, there'll be some dirtbag attorney that'll pick this up.
Absolutely. All day
and
long.
Gorilla Glue will write her a check for $100,000 to get her away,
I'm
right?
not sure they will, but we'll
I
see
hope
about
not.
that.
I hope not. I hope you're right. Alrighty, welcome back. Michael Lomas, Glenn Wiggle. I'm used to saying welcome back to the radio, and I still do that. Damn it. How long have we been doing this podcast?
2 years.
Right?
But 22 on the radio.
Has it been 2 years on a podcast already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Michael Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, the place where money meets politics. Let me shut my phone off so I'm not... you're not hearing bing, bing, bing the whole time. And we're going to talk about, we're going to be all over the place today. I printed off a bunch of stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with this show. Maybe we talk a little bit of money. Markets have been doing pretty well, actually. I mean, sort of trading in a range, but well. Yeah. And I think there's probably a little bit of concern that maybe a little bit too well. I know, in fact, when I grabbed an article here about, some concerns about inflation. Now, a lot of folks we've been talking about inflation for 5-6 years now. Mm-hmm. But, although I keep saying this, you can't pump all this money into the economy and not have inflation. Although, as John Thur, one of our chartered financial analysts, has been saying, is that we do have inflation. You look at home prices.
Right.
Look at the price of automobiles, right?
Yep.
You've got a lack of
prices.
supply. And you've got demand there. Stock prices, yeah. So, but stocks can do well in an inflationary environment. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about you and your money. Of course, if you need us throughout the week, we do manage money for a living. Use us as a resource. Our website, thefinancialguys.com. Click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. We really appreciate that. We need the conservative message to get out there. And what did somebody say this week? Rumble? Is that the new...
Rumble. Somebody went, Joe Pags, who is a nationally syndicated radio talk show host, got some family here in South Florida as well, and but he's just put a tweet out there this week and saying, I'm done with YouTube. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to Rumble. Lots of folks are leaving some of these mainstream platforms like YouTube, Twitter, trying to get on the Gab and Parler and stuff like that.
They have you, right? They have you. And I that's because that's the only platform. Right?
Well, they control the dissemination of information, and it's a really scary one. An Amazon, you think of the power they have to simply just, deplatform basically a Parler, a competitor, which I hope they win their lawsuit because it's really just wrong. But you have to question, ask the question, what are they afraid of, right? We're talking about Trump earlier. Their impeachment trial starts today, right? Which is a total sham because an impeachment trial, according to the Constitution, has usually the Chief Justice that presides over the case. So what you have now is you have a congressperson being the judge and the jury and the prosecutors and the whole 9 yards, right? It's completely ridiculous. But what are they afraid of?
They don't want him to ever run again. Not allowed for any. They don't want him to have
intelligence briefings. They are absolutely petrified.
What does he
Donald
know?
Trump.
What does Donald know? What does Donald know?
Yeah, it's scary.
And we were saying Donald better have his own private security. If I was Donald, I would be.
Oh God, yeah.
I would be selling one of those buildings and making sure that I had the best of the best because I wouldn't be on any roads without a lot of people around me. I wouldn't be on any airplanes without a lot of my own Secret Service, my own staff going.
Yeah, I'm worried for him. I think the government's evil. I got to be honest, folks. I would have never thought the government was evil though before they sold guns to Mexican drug cartels.
He knows a lot. He knows
a
lot about them. I'm sure it's dirt.
He knows it all.
He knows it all, and they're petrified of that. They are absolutely petrified of that.
Yep, there's no question. It's frustrating to watch the Biden, in a way, just completely fumble and fall on his face.
Yeah.
And these are pretty critical things, right? You're talking about he lost 20 million doses of the vaccine.
Yeah.
He lost. They shipped out like 50 million, 30 million arrived, 20 million. Poof, gone. Where'd it go? He has no idea.
No idea.
Media doesn't even ask him a single question on it. It's
Wait till you hear
amazing.
this video. Now, you have not heard this video yet.
I haven't heard either of these.
This is our illustrious leader, Joe Biden, who is in control of the vaccine.
He's got the nuclear codes.
Right? Now, he's got the nuclear codes. Now, this is the guy, by the way, that when he was running said, I have a plan to stop COVID.
Yes.
Then he got into office and said, I really can't change the trajectory. I can't change the direction of COVID. Wait a minute. You just ran on a platform that you were going to stop it, and now you're saying you can't change the direction of it. This is why, by the way, this guy, he should not literally, he should be in a home. He should be in a home.
Yeah.
He should be getting help in a home.
Yeah, no question. He's really a bumbling.
This is him off the teleprompter just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
expect these additional 200 million doses to be delivered this summer.
200 million.
And some of it will come begin to come in early summer, but by the midsummer, that this vaccine will be there.
Midsummer, okay.
And the order, and that increases the total vaccine order in the United States by 50%, from 400 million order to 600 million. This is enough vaccine to fully vaccinate 300 Americans by end of the summer, the beginning of the fall.
Wait, no, it doubles up. He doubles up.
I want to repeat. It'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans.
Wow. Wow.
That's like, if you did it once, you're like, all right, I meant 300 million. Okay, right. He just doesn't even know. And maybe he's prepping the U.S. to say, I've already lost 20 million. I think I could probably lose most of the majority of these vaccines. I could
figure that was about 40% of the last shipment. So if I can come up with 400 million, then I might have to.
The best is, I have no idea who this gentleman is, but his facial expressions are great.
He's counting it. So.
Yeah.
Really, what a joke. And you could play clip after clip after clip like that at Joe Biden. And Jen Psaki's not much better. It's like insert moron for moron, right?
Yeah.
She's out to go. And then the questions, now you got this Fox News reporter actually asking, so he's like the CNN now guy, right? He's asking some hard questions. She's like, oh, come on, we're not going to answer that kind of question here. No.
Nor does she need to.
No, we're not going to answer. And then the rest of the group goes, we're not going to answer the question.
Yeah.
No, John, is it tough to get up and do your hair every day and get in front of the cameras like you do? Come on.
Yeah.
What a joke. Yeah. It's such a joke.
Are you still cleaning up the mess from Donald Trump?
Yes. Just great.
And they get away with it because really the local news outlets, that's what we've been saying for a while about the importance of winning local hometown elections, right? School boards, town boards, all that kind of stuff. The same is true in the local media. If the local media is not going to pick up these stories, right? Most people go to work, they come home, they might watch their local news, and then they watch American Idol or they watch Family Feud and fall asleep, right?
Yep.
But if the local media, and I know in Buffalo, New York, where our hometown is, the local media is totally useless outside of one gentleman. And maybe we can play this. This is Dave McKinley, by the way, just on the subject of vaccines and COVID. Your parents, as you've already said, have gotten 2 doses down in Florida.
Yep, they're done.
Right?
They're fully vaccinated.
Down in Florida, we have offices down in Florida. We spend a lot of time down in Florida. You won't believe this, but the majority of our clients, a huge chunk, are actually moving from Buffalo to Florida.
No.
And the governor there, who seems to, everything just seems to be easy there.
Right.
Like it's just like not like this big government agency crap fest that never happens. Like the governor says, we're going to roll out the vaccines.
Right.
So the first phase of that was he said, you can get it at the airport. That was the first.
He did that. Yep.
They immediately used the airport, and then he said, which is exactly what I said, by the way, months ago. I said I would use the private companies because they'll do a better job of it, right? Use the Walmarts, use the Wegmans or Tops or Publix or the Walgreens. They'll roll it out easier, right? That's what I would do. I'd partner up with them. They'd be happy to do it for foot traffic, right? Yep. People stop and grab a candy bar on the way out the door. So exactly what should have been done. He had a plan in place. Now, DeSantis was accused of not having enough inner city locations because
there was a couple out in the middle of the state. So there's places around Lake Okeechobee like Belglade and places like that didn't have a Publix. There's a Publix like on every corner in Florida, right? Because they're not as big as like Wegmans and Tops in Western New York. So you literally have one like in almost every neighborhood, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 sometimes.
Yeah, so there's a couple really very rural communities that are in farm country in the middle of Florida that just didn't have something close by, right?
Yeah.
So of course the mayors complained and said, well, wait a minute now, this is discriminatory because there's nothing here. Easy fix, right?
Immediate.
Easy fix.
DeSantis said, you know what? I think you might be right about that. Let's. I didn't realize that we're
what do you
using
guys
Publix.
got?
Yeah.
We got Walgreens. Okay.
Perfect.
Call Walgreens. Can you do it? Yep, we can do it. No problem solved.
Done.
Like that. Ta-da!
Done. Right. So now today, here's what's happening in Florida, by the way, folks. People walk in. Actually, they're calling.
They got a call first.
They're setting up their appointment. They're walking in and getting it done.
Yeah.
And we have lots of clients that every single day are getting getting vaccinated, right? In the state
he's
of
getting
Florida,
criticized.
in the
He's getting
state of Florida
criticized
with
for that,
zero
Yeah.
freaking state taxes.
But he's
Zero.
getting, the funny thing is DeSantis from the left is getting criticized for certain good. Well, I can't get. I've called every day for 2 weeks. Well, guess what? There's only so much vaccine,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's like trying to call and getting tickets to the Rolling Stones. I mean,
Right.
I got to call. You got to
Yeah.
call. And so it's been a source of frustration for some people, but they're getting the opportunity here in Florida. Well, they're not getting it now. New York. Somebody said in New York, look, I'm young. I'm under 65, but I've got pre-existing conditions. When can you expand the list? And of course, Como makes it as hard as possible.
It's
right?
got to be this big.
Well, we don't have enough. We have an over demand for not enough supply. And so to add people to the list would just confuse things. The next question from the reporter should have been, but didn't you just add inmates?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people in drug rehab that
There you
were under
go.
65?
Yes.
Oh, yes, he did, right?
Yes.
So, it's excuse after excuse. I mean, what Como should do is say, yeah, it should be people under 60, whatever. Make the rule and stick with it. But
Well, have a plan. Here's the deal. You and I literally over a case,
Yeah. A half a beer.
a 6-pack of
Not
Red
even.
Stripes. We would have the whole thing figured out, right?
Done.
Here's who's going to get it now.
Right.
Here's who's going to get
next.
it. Here's
Right.
a time frame.
Yeah.
And by the way, here's when we think we'd work with Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. We'd get the anticipated list of how many vaccines are coming, and we'd lay it all out, right?
That's right.
It would be done. It would be done.
Simple.
It'd take us a half an hour, a cup of coffee, we'd have it all
that's
done.
why they hate Trump so much, because
Yeah.
he actually showed what that could be
well,
done.
leadership is
He
involved.
showed
Yeah.
in Washington how inept these career politicians, I'm talking to you too, McConnell, right? We had a president who didn't like the election results. I mean, come on. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
I mean,
that boat won't be there by Tuesday. No, shut up Monday.
Yeah, shut up Monday. Yeah, they'll never be there next week.
Right.
He was able to do things that
Right.
these clowns and career
it's gonna
politicians could never do.
It's going to take years to have a vaccine. Months later, done.
Months later. So
Done.
here's, New York State, to go back to your point about being just ridiculous, these regulations and these rules from liberals are just, they don't help anybody, folks.
No.
They make them feel good. Here's the new rule in New York for sick pay. Stick with me on this, okay? New York has mandated now that full-time employees have to be given a week of sick pay. They've also mandated that each employee has to be able to roll that sick time, unused sick time, to the next year. So let's say
you could accumulate it.
you can accumulate it.
Oh.
So I asked our HR person, I said, so does that mean that if somebody works for us for 30 years and never takes a sick day, that essentially they could take 30 weeks off or more than half the year? She goes, no. What you can do is you can put in the manual that they can never use more than 7 days in any given year. I said, well, then what happens if they terminate employment? Do they get paid for all that unused sick time? Nope. You can put that in the manual, too, that if they leave employment or sever employment for any reason, that they don't get the paid unpaid sick time or are able to use the unpaid sick leave. So let me get this straight. We have to have a regulation now where we have to track it. Right? Not only do we have to track it within that year, but now we have to keep track of it year to year to year. However, we could put stipulations in place so the employees could never use it, they can't take it with them, and they're not compensated when they leave.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like it helps anybody.
Right.
Now, in our office, it's 1 week for the first year, 2 weeks for the second. It gets up to 4 weeks of vacation for our more seasoned veterans, like Sue in our office can take a month off. She never does.
Right.
But she has that.
We beg her
to. So she has that ability, right? So in most employers, what Democrats and liberals don't understand is that most employers like us, we already provide. To be competitive in the marketplace, you actually have to provide things. It's not prison camp, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, people don't get locked to their desk where they're so miserable and we're just profiting on their backs. People come to work because you offer them benefit packages, right? Sick days, vacation days, health insurance,
most
a 401k
successful
match.
places,
Right?
most
Come
successful
on.
places like ours, we have to actually kick them out. We actually have to kick them out. We're like Zimmer,
Go
Lynn,
home.
you've got to structure.
Take some time off.
You've got to structure this so you can take off. Yeah, I know, but I don't need to. No,
But
you
in the
do.
minds of the left, like somehow
everybody's bad.
Once you're in, like we
every
got you
business
now.
is bad.
We're
Every
going to
business is
grind
evil.
you, right? Like,
Yeah.
come on. I mean,
every business is evil. Not one of them though start
the
their
thing.
own company and donate their money. Not one of them.
Here's the thing: if you don't like the place you're working, here's what you do. you just go and get another job. I know it sounds like, oh, that's real easy, Glenn.
It is.
Actually, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. My whole adult life, I have never been unemployed. You haven't either, right? Our whole life.
No, here's what you got to do,
one
though.
day.
You've got to find a skill set. You've got to actually go get certified to do something, right? And that's what a lot of people do. They don't actually apply themselves to get any type of certifications, right? You were talking about Sue in our office before. Sue went, she was a front desk person. She went back to school and got a bunch of, while she was working with us, got her Series 7, 6, 63, went back and got all these licenses along the way. But as she accumulates licenses, she becomes more and more valuable.
Right.
Miranda in our office, Miranda's new, brand new. Guess what she did? When we sat down, Mike Sparazzo, and he sat down with Home and Auto Division, he said, Miranda, look, here's what you got to do to move up. You've got to get your licenses, because if not, if you don't have certain licenses in this industry, you're just not going to be able to participate in profit sharing, blah, 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 blah. You know what she did? I showed up the one morning, 7:30 in the morning. Guess who's there studying? In an office by herself, Miranda. You know, she just passed the exam last week. Passed the exam.
That's awesome.
So now, guess what? Miranda now has her home and auto license.
Right.
So that means that our home and auto division is not going anywhere. Right. But let's just say we decided not to do it anymore. Well, now she's got a skill set that she can move that somewhere else, right? And knowing Miranda, knowing how well she seems to be doing, my guess is she's going to go back for advanced training, and and her resume is going to go like this, right? And she's going to become more and more. You have to actually get off your ass and apply yourself. That's it's really that simple.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just 10 year longer you were there, the more you get paid.
Well, that's the public school system.
Union.
Yeah.
Let's play this clip. If we're going to figure it out.
Dave's great. No,
this
Dave's
is getting back to the vaccine rollout. Now, keep in mind again, Trump with Operation Warp Speed broke records.
Yeah.
Never 4 years was the next record. I think it was polio vaccine. Took 4 years to develop. This was done in 9 months, folks.
Right.
And the reality of it is, if it wasn't for the regulation,
it would have been done earlier.
It would have been done earlier.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
they actually already had it. They already
had it in January.
Yeah.
The thing is, what's frustrating is that Trump, if you recall, in December, was like, FDA, you useless bureaucrats.
Yep.
What are you waiting for?
Right.
You're not getting any more data. You've already made the decision to approve it.
Right.
What are you waiting for?
Move on.
Flip the switch. Everyone's waiting like any day now. The FDA is going to approve it. Trump's making phone calls. Finally, he's picking up the phone going, get it to... Stamp the damn envelope and let's go. What are you waiting on? The next day they got it done. But that's what it takes.
Nobody to put pressure on them, it doesn't matter, right? It's like the Biden crime family right now.
Or the Erie County Health Department.
It's like the Biden crime family right now. Hunter's back writing a book. He's going to make all kinds of money. He still has
the Chinese
ties.
payroll.
He's back on the Chinese payroll. Still has ties, right? Which is a national security issue. But unless the mainstream media is going to call him out, who cares?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
To your point,
who cares?
people go home, they watch the 6 o'clock news, they read the Buffalo News, they get propaganda.
It won't matter until it matters, right?
The LA Times. Remind me to talk about the LA Times article. They talked about Andy, I think his last name is Wynn's new book about Antifa. Now, he's got all kinds of video. LA Times comes out and goes, oh, well, this is straight out of Goebbels. He would be proud. This is all the meticulous detail he put in here reeks of Nazi propaganda. Are you insane?
Yeah, right.
This guy's like Vietnamese, first of all. What's the matter with you?
Let me let you in a little secret,
wow.
folks. When I hear that Trump and Nazis and Republicans and Nazis, Hitler gained power through big government.
Yes.
Big government. It wasn't small government where Hitler gained power. Yeah. He took over healthcare. He took guns, right? All the stuff that the left is accusing people of doing.
Had the education
That's
system.
what he did.
Yes.
Right. Took over brainwashed the educational system, right? We have a lady, right, by the way, this will show you the public health system. Right?
The public education system.
Yeah, this is what happens when you go to public school. Louisiana woman who used Gorilla Glue. Adhesive in her hair instead of hairspray seeks medical attention. Let me let you in a little secret. Cut your hair off.
Now she's talking about suing.
And go get a counselor. Yeah,
she's like,
I'm
well,
sure.
It didn't say not to use it on your hair.
Yeah, unreal.
Somebody told me recently.
And by the way, there'll be some dirtbag attorney that'll pick this up.
Absolutely. All day
and
long.
Gorilla Glue will write her a check for $100,000 to get her away,
I'm
right?
not sure they will, but we'll see
I
about
hope
that.
not. I hope not. I hope you're right.
Somebody told me this, and I don't know who it was, or maybe I read it online or something. They said, 50 years ago when you used to get your automobile, when you used to buy a car, in the manual, it would give you like the timing for certain things and how to like change the valves and stuff like that. Now it gives you a warning not to drink the gasoline. Like seriously, this is how far we've come, folks. Right in the last 50 or so years. Right?
That's true. I
mean, seriously, the manual would actually tell you how to take apart the car.
Yeah, paint.
Right,
paint now.
Now it tells you don't drink the oil.
Yeah,
don't eat the paint.
Don't eat the paint. Don't eat the paint. Yeah, this is where we are. This is where we are. That's what happens when you send kids to school with a 40% graduation rate.
Yeah, and call it a success. This is Dave McKinley, WGRZ Channel 2. Maybe.
List of conditions are going to be eligible to be vaccinated, but as we have found
List of
out
conditions, of
these
course.
last few months, being eligible to
Everything's
get the
tough.
shot and being able to get the shot are two very different things. Good evening, everyone. I'm Scott Levin.
Not in Florida.
And I'm Mary Alice
Scott Levin, I like
Demler.
him.
Officials are already bracing for the millions more people who will be trying to set up shots next Monday. 2 on your sides, Dave McKinley has more from the governor about what's on the
Dave's
way.
voice is great.
The list of comorbidities appeared on a screen behind the governor there. These are what's been designated by the state as maladies or conditions that would make
Obesity.
one eligible for this next round.
Was on the
You will
list.
have
Who
to
determines
prove it,
that?
though.
People will need to bring a doctor's letter.
Oh, God.
Or medical information that evidence.
If I show up, hold on a second.
What makes you
If-
obese, by the way?
Wait a minute. If you show up and you're like 400 pounds, do you really need a medical note? I mean, seriously? Is the vaccination person going to look at you and go, I don't know if that's, do you really? You're going to
and-
have to verify
And by
that
the
you're
way,
obese.
And by the way, anybody can have my shot, right? But not for nothing. But if somebody runs and works out 4 days a week,
Right.
And then you've got somebody who sits around and does absolutely
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Now they're eligible.
That's
for-
right.
It's like
How about the guy who works out, takes care of themselves, or the girl and runs 4 days a week, but has cancer,
Right.
and deserves to be in line in front
Right.
of the fat dude,
right, or the inmate.
or the inmate?
Or the
Right.
inmate.
Was that on the condition? I didn't see it. We'll have to go back and analyze that. We'll back this up. Let's play this clip. We'll back it up, and
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
take
yeah,
a look at the list of comorbidities. That could be the
I
rest
didn't
of
even
the
think
show.
of that. I just was listening.
Says that they have this comorbidity.
And
Wait, back
cheating
up.
is to
Hold on,
prove
back
it,
up.
though.
People will need to bring a doctor's letter or medical information that evidences that they have this comorbidity.
And cheating is ill-advised.
If a
Why?
person commits
does it all the time.
fraud and says they have a comorbidity when they don't, or lies about their
You
age,
go to the gulag.
then yeah, they committed fraud,
Yep.
and that has to be enforced.
Yep.
Otherwise, the whole system's
you're a
a
Democrat.
mockery.
Yep.
But even to get
The
to
whole
that
system's a
stage,
mockery.
you'll need an appointment. And the governor and his team spent a lot of time today seemingly bracing those, seeking these shots, that it won't be easy.
Everybody should go into this with their eyes wide open. It's going to be frustrating. It is going to be a crush.
It
It's
will
go-
be, they
it's going to
say,
be a
much
crush.
like the state's
It's going to be a
vaccine
huge
rollout has
disappointment.
been up till now.
Wait, I got to
There are
back that
people
up.
who go into this.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. This is their announcement.
I'm just letting you know. This is another Andrew Cuomo rollout. It's going to be a mess.
It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a disaster.
Just letting you know.
Let's be honest. Go
Yeah.
into it wise wide open. The governor's office is running this. It's going to be a shit
Now,
show.
Let me ask you this.
Come on.
Let me ask you this. Who the hell wants to put that needle in their arm now? Who wants to put
It's
the
going to
needle?
be a goat rodeo.
Oh,
we don't know what to expect. No, don't think it's going to be easy, though.
There's a
You're going to be
50% chance that you get the wrong shot.
You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be crushed. Crushed.
You might
She
get-
used the word crushed.
Crushed.
You're going to be crushed, probably.
Crushed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, in Florida, DeSantis is like, you know, I'm just asking everyone to be patient, right? There's
Yeah.
only so much to go around.
Yeah.
We're doing. You're going to get your shot.
Right.
We're advocating for more every day. It's going to happen. You know, be patient, please.
just reminds
Here, it's
me-
like you're going to be crushed.
It reminds me of like the small fire,
man.
right? The small fire that starts in a building. And in Florida, you've got Governor DeSantis that says, okay, everybody relax. We're going to go one at a time. The fire's not big. We're going to make it out here. And they all listen and everybody disciplined and walks their way out, right? And in Florida, you've got Andrew Cuomo go, get out, fire! And they all smash into each other and nobody makes it out alive.
Wasn't that did that in the Super Bowl? Wasn't that like part of the act?
Yeah.
They're bouncing,
Oh, yeah,
bouncing into each
yeah.
other. Was that part of
Yeah,
it? Like
yeah.
that's Andrew Cuomo.
What was the
Biden campaign
what was the
thing?
white face thing? I didn't.
The diapers are on their face. Yeah.
No,
so you're
no.
telling me you can't go to a full mass with 100%, but you could dance around with a diaper on your head with hundreds of people at the Super Bowl.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just such
Smashing
a joke.
into each other.
Such
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's play the rest of this if we can get through it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
At that stage, you will need an appointment. And the governor and his team spent a lot of time today seemingly bracing those, seeking these shots, that it won't be easy.
Everybody should go into this with their eyes wide open. It's going to be frustrating. It is going to be a crush.
It will be, they say, much like the state's vaccine rollout has been up till now.
There are people constantly on a daily basis right now, hundreds of thousands of people on that website refreshing. That traffic is only going to increase.
Whether you want to look at it through the lens of an old economic adage of supply and demand or simple math, it all comes out the same.
10 million people chasing 300,000 vaccines. That's the reality.
No, that's
While
not
it
the
may not
reality.
be true in other parts of the country, the
Not the
governor's
reality.
change in New York, which continues to lead the nation in coronavirus deaths, it may take at least a year
Number
before
one.
everyone who wants a vaccine gets one. The governor also spent some time today talking about getting New York's decimated performing arts industry back on
There you go.
You
Tell you more about
decimated
that
it.
coming
Right.
Up at 6.
That's coming up at 6. Wait for that one.
Love the hat, Dave, by the way.
That's gonna be a crush as well.
Dave's got the Crocodile Dundee hat on.
Now he's
Dave,
gonna save the entertainment industry. Holy cow! Let me tell you, Andrew, you'll be able to watch some shows, but you're gonna have to get on your private jet and go down to Palm Beach and check it out.
Unbelievable. So I love this. Right?
We do have to get that list.
The best part
Were
is,
you able to see
we'll
that?
go back.
Okay.
Now the liberals are,
It looks so tiny. I didn't know.
They're running ads now. I think it was a Super Bowl ad. Support small business.
Right.
You just destroyed small business. Now the liberals are out there with their.
That's like beating your wife and running an ad saying you shouldn't beat your wife.
That's right. You should support marriage counseling.
In today's day and age, your spouse.
It could be either way.
Yeah, it could be either way.
Let's see if I can get that back up because that was hilarious.
You shouldn't beat your spouse. Wait a minute. Didn't you just beat the crap out of her or him?
Exactly.
Yeah, I did.
Yep. It's a joke.
I did nothing to see here, though. Not they support your local businesses.
Yep.
You want to support your local businesses? Take the diapers off your damn face and allow people to go back to living their lives. Hundreds of people, by the way, arrested in New York City for partying in private parties. Yeah.
God forbid they got together. Does the sheriff's office in New York and the police department in New York, we love you guys, but seriously, do you not realize that the murders are up 200%?
Right.
Shootings are up 200%. I'm watching people.
They're worried
they
about
drove
people.
a U-Haul through the front of a store last week.
Was that New York City?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what do you people do? It's like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in New York City, and you're busting, Orthodox Jews for getting together at Mass and people having parties in the basement for a Super Bowl? Are you out of your
They're
mind?
worried.
What's the matter with you?
That's exactly right. Hundreds of people getting killed on the streets from violence, which they don't care. They're letting those dirtbags out. They're the ones getting the vaccine first.
I tell you what, these police officers, you are kissing off the rest of the goodwill and support you have from people like us that are patriots.
No doubt.
The more and don't tell me, wow, we're just following orders. We got to follow the law.
Don't.
No.
Well, that's not the law, by the way.
If the law said just go get whoever and lock them up for no reason, would you do it?
Well,
would you do it?
My job is on the line.
I think half of them would.
I think
that's a scary thought, right? For all those people that say they would never come take your guns.
Bullshit.
There's a court case, by the way, coming up that is going to the Supreme Court. They're deciding it, I believe it's in March or at the end of this month, where basically the Supreme Court's going to decide whether the police can come into our house without a warrant and seize our guns. Okay, so now we're getting to a point where sometimes the Constitution applies, right? Sometimes you can go to church, maybe.
That is not going to.
Sometimes you can assemble.
Let me tell you
maybe.
something. That will not end up well.
Wow.
That will not end up
crazy.
well. That will be the spillover. There's too many Second Amendment folks that are just going to say, you're not coming into my house. That is not going to end up well.
Man, I'm telling you what, though. I mean, when the Supreme Court has to decide on which parts of the Constitution, or I mean, should we go to the cruel and unusual punishment and let the Supreme Court decide when that's possible? Should the Supreme Court decide that sometimes that the police can hold you without any sort of charges indefinitely? Is that going to be, because you're a danger to the community or yourself? I mean, let's be honest here. We're getting to really scary times.
And by the way, what the next step is let's retrain the police force to have the right people. There will be Bradley Gilberts that will be running the police force, right? It'll be you're not wearing a mask. You're not wearing a mask. Where's your mask? You're not wearing a mask. Where's your mask? Bradley will be promoted up the ranks when the conservative thinking folks will not. Yeah.
So let's see what we got here. We have some comorbidities. Any individuals age 16 plus with cancer makes sense. Chronic kidney disease, get it. Pulmonary diseases, fine. Intellectual or developmental disabilities, including Down syndrome. I can see where if you have developmental disabilities, I'm not sure about the intellectual, but I'll give you a pass on that. I'm fine with that too. Heart conditions, okay. Immunocompromised makes sense. I'm not so sure about the obesity thing. I got to be honest.
Yeah. Who measures that? Who's considered obese?
I'll tell you what, though.
By the way, there's no statistics there's very few statistics. Let me tell you that unless you're rapidly, extremely obese, right? Having a little bit of fat on you actually shows that you live longer than not having that fat on you, right? It's
pregnancy. I don't know if I was pregnant if I would go get the vaccine.
I'll tell you, I know a few people who are pregnant, and every single one of them said absolutely not.
So my parents, as I mentioned, have gotten a second dose, and my mom got pretty sick. She was.
You're putting it in you.
She spiked a fever. Now she's also just getting over a battle with cancer, so she also got the pre-existing conditions. But she got 102, 103 fever. I mean, she got sick.
I mean, it's a flu shot, man. You're putting it in your body.
You're putting it in your body. My father, on the other hand, he was just tired. He was a little run down for a day, not a big deal. But anyway, sickle cell, type diabetes, I'm not sure what that even is. Neurologic conditions, liver disease. So most of these make sense. I don't know about the obesity thing. I mean, I don't think that's right to say to somebody that, you've got cancer, but you took care of yourself, but the fat guy in front of you is going to be in line first.
Well,
I don't think that's right.
The inmates, and I thought I printed out, the inmates are ridiculous.
The inmates,
right?
the drug addicts.
The only thing I would say about the inmates is if they were the absolute first ones to get it. So you use them as a test case.
Right.
That might be an argument I might buy. But at this point, when you've had millions of people that have already received it, and it seems to have a pretty good track record, a few people getting a little bit sick that first day or second day, but then they're on their way. I think the inmates are just fine. Put a diaper on their face like you're asking the rest of the country to do, and let them stay in their cell by themselves, right? It's not supposed to be fun. No offense to Chris Collins. I saw Chris had a video out that how bad prison was, and I'm thinking as I'm watching this video, he's like, people don't realize how bad it is. The rest of my life I'm fighting for prison reform, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it sounds like it worked. I mean, it sounds like it wasn't the greatest of places, and my guess is, Chris, you're probably going to think about that before you give somebody a stock tip in the future that you're not supposed to, because you don't want to go back.
Honestly,
it's not supposed to be the Marriott.
But still, though, what a waste of space, though. I mean, honestly, I'm not talking about Chris. I'm talking about putting him in prison, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
put him
folks,
on home arrest.
Put him on home arrest. Yeah. We're letting people out there.
You're letting child molesters
violent, violent sex offenders. You're letting them out in the streets.
Right.
You're going to take some of these white collar crimes, and I'm not saying
if he was a Democrat, by the way, he would have never gone to prison.
No way.
It would have been on house arrest or something. It would have been fine.
Yep,
but,
exactly. Yep, absolutely. It's just outrageous.
All right.
A couple of things on news real quick. Streaker during a Super Bowl, I should have placed that bet. Damn it. Damn it.
Well, Streaker, but he took his mask off. Like the 35, 40 yard.
What?
Yeah, he ripped the mask off.
Everybody, by the way, up in arms because Tom Brady is walking in without a mask. Oh, my God. How could all the liberals? How could he? It's not set an example.
But this shows you how mentally ill these people are.
So dumb.
And my fear is that the conservatives will never stand up. Like,
no, they won't.
You conservatives are getting
because
into
they get shouted right down.
Who
You're
cares?
a murderer. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get away. First of all, every one of those players have been tested every single day.
They're smashing into each other with no masks on, and then they go back to the sidelines.
My favorite.
And they put their mask on.
No.
Here's the one guy who pulls down the mask and yells at the guy.
Yeah.
They're yelling
Here's my favorite. Here's my favorite. This is what they do when they're sitting on the bench by themselves. Now, some of you are watching on YouTube, right? So I have a piece of paper in front of me, like pretending it's a diaper, right? But here's what they do. They're sitting by themselves. The mask is on their face, right? But then they go talk and they pull it down. Let me talk to you. I think the whole point to a mask is when you talk,
not to spit in
you
somebody's
don't
face
want to
accidentally.
spit. So they're just. I mean, it is beyond asinine at this point. Just the whole thing, and I just want to start ripping masks off of people's face. I mean, it's just beyond frustrating.
Well, my favorite is to see the people when they're by themselves walking down the street wearing a mask,
letting you know.
Are you just virtue signaling?
Yes, that's
is
all
that what it
doing.
is? Is that all you're doing? Is saying I'm better than you? Look at me. Look at me.
Glenn,
I mean, it's like what's her name? Who was the actress who's completely a loser? She was on Who's the Boss?
Melissa Milano.
Yes, that's her name. I mean, she's like the queen of virtue signaling.
Oh, yeah,
right? It's a joke.
Yeah, my favorite is now they're wearing two masks when nobody's around. Calls for Bank of America boycott grow after data given to FBI.
That's a big deal, man.
By the way, we have one of the guys in our office used to work for Bank of America. He had a American pin on his coat. This was 2 years ago. They made him take it off.
Amazing.
This is Bank of America, folks.
Bank of Amigo, we call him.
I took every penny I had. I had when Amy had a real estate company, we had some money in Bank of America because she had real estate in different parts of the country. We cleared every bit of it out. You will never see me. By the way, they do own Merrill Lynch as well. So
know who you're working with, folks. I got to tell you, we've been talking about this. I had a couple reviews with clients this week, and in talking to clients, we of course we talk about the political environment and what we expect going forward and what happened. And I tell you, so many people just say, "Oh my God, it's so refreshing to talk to somebody who's actually honest and thinks like I do." Like one of the clients, real sweet lady, she goes, "I've been afraid to talk to anybody about the election fraud because I don't know what their thoughts are. I don't want to be labeled as an extremist." But she goes, "I saw what I saw with my own eyes." And I said, "You know what? Again, we are a conservative safe space. You can come. We saw the same thing." Yep. We're not stupid, folks. Nobody showed up for his rallies. Nobody, okay? He picked a vice presidential candidate who dropped out of the race with 1-point-something% support. Unlikable, right? Didn't campaign at all. told to stay in his basement, totally confident. I think we're going to win this thing. We're going to wait till all the votes are counted. As somehow as if they knew, right?
Well, Nancy Pelosi said, she said,
one way or the other.
One way or the other,
Nope.
we're going to get the votes we need.
Nope.
Well, she was right. She was right. Yeah.
And so Trump is on trial today in Congress because they are so petrified of him. They're going to try to impeach him again. This is Jesse Waters, by the way, this week on Fox. I'm going to play this piece because he's so good.
I want to just reach into Trump's brain and get every little piece of information that he needs.
Seriously.
These dirtbags. Maybe, just maybe at some point he can actually come back around and drain the swamp.
I hope so. This is Jesse Waters, though, talking about the Democrats' hypocrisy on the violent rhetoric. And he is absolutely spot on with this. I mean, in a minute and 20 seconds.
Now, do you see Maxine Waters is denying it now? I never said that. That's what she said.
Video.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
In a department store, in a gasoline station.
She said, I never
you
said
get
that.
out and you create a crowd and you push back on them.
I'll find it. She said
any
this week,
place, anywhere, right? Anytime.
She said, absolutely, I never said that.
Oh my
this week.
God.
Yeah.
Well, this is Jesse Waters just crushing it again. He's fantastic. He's spot on here.
Exactly. Maxine Waters, no relation. If you put her words in Trump's mouth on January 6th, whoa, we would have that speech memorized. And take a look at the full context. She actually says, God is on my side. We will win this battle. We will kick Trump in the rear and stomp him out. And then she says, get in their face and push back. Later, she says, absolutely harass Trump supporters. So by their own logic, you could make all the Democrats accessories to all the crimes that they've committed against Trump supporters. And those crimes, that is a long list. Breitbart has a rap sheet on all the crimes against Trump supporters. I ran out of paper printing it out, Katie. Republican offices firebombed, shot at, and vandalized. Republican politicians shot, attacks with switchblades, assaulted. You've seen them chased all over the place. We've had regular Trump supporters have their tires slashed,
in front of his own house.
their cars lit on fire, sucker punched, beaten unconscious, spit on. And no one ever talks about that. They only talk about what happened at the Capitol, which was horrible, but that does not reflect the actuality of the violence that happened in the last 4 years.
First of all, I don't think there was
I'm not saying it was wrong. But it wasn't horrible. It was absolutely wrong. Okay,
Right.
I'm not saying it wasn't wrong. But let's define horrible for a second.
compare that-
Horrible would mean that a congressperson actually got killed, or the Capitol was actually burnt to the ground.
Oh, that happened to
If that was
Republicans.
Antifa, and if that was BLM,
That's right.
there would be no more Capitol building, folks. Do you get that?
Right. Well,
it would be gone.
think about-
there would be dozens of people. BLM and Antifa has killed 24 officers, at least been directly responsible for. Right? They walked up in L.A. and shot 2 officers, one in the face.
Yeah, they shot
did it in New York
politicians at a
City.
baseball game.
Right? Guy pulls up at a baseball game. Bernie Sanders says, go get Republicans. They're stealing your health care. They're the cause of you dying. That's what Bernie Sanders said.
Yep.
The guy gets in his car, picks up an AR-15, drives to D.C., says, which ones are the Republicans? Which field are the Republicans in? That field over there, sir. Hello? Didn't think to say. The guy goes over, shoots Steve Scalise, shoots a security guard, shoots a couple other people. I think 4 people were shot. Steve Scalise got shot multiple times. I mean, and when they asked the guy, why did you do it? He said, because I was afraid that they were going to kill me by taking away my health care from Bernie Sanders, right? Nobody says a thing.
Yeah, Trump's on trial today. By the way, Maxine
Sickening.
Waters, and this is what she does. Maxine Waters denied that she had ever glorified or encouraged violence against
because
Republicans.
history starts this morning.
No,
didn't happen.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
And once again, going back to the local media, right? So the Post, New York Post picks this up. Nobody else will. Nobody will know.
No.
I mean, this is real simple, folks. We've been playing we have the intro. It's in our intro clip on Saturday mornings on our radio show, right?
Yep.
Go out here, you see him in a restaurant. You go get him, right?
Yep.
But no, she just denies it. No.
In a gasoline station.
Yeah, Hunter Biden. I never made that money. No, it's fine.
Yep.
Okay, no problem. That's good.
Yeah, it's really unreal. I mean, it's really just quite amazing.
How about we'll wrap up here a little bit here. New York adds over 1,500 coronavirus fatalities to long-term care death toll. So this is Breitbart. I'm sure that your local media will be picking this up. If you're out in the Rochester area, Buffalo, New York, I'm sure you'll hear about this week. So the killer, Andrew Cuomo, adding to his death toll 1,500 more. So Omar erupts. She rips the United States, says America suffers from greed. Go back to wherever you want to go.
Yep.
I mean, you hate America so much. You just hate America. It suffers from greed. We want a better lifestyle for our children, for our grandchildren. Yes. If you don't like that, leave.
You were in a refugee camp.
Yes.
The country you came from was in shambles. You were living in a tent in a refugee camp, right? The wealth of this country, by the way, the greed that created the wealth of this country has allowed us to take people like you and give them a life and a future.
Yeah.
Right? Your children in this country have a future. You in this country have a future, right? In a Somali refugee camp, future not so bright. Not so much.
What did those places have? Oh, yeah, big government.
Yeah.
Big government.
Well, Somali's got a... Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, this...
By the way, the CDC director warns COVID variants could reverse the recent drop in cases and hospitalizations.
Oh, I'm sure.
They just can't stop.
No, they can't.
They just can't
stop.
stop.
We'll be living with this forever, folks.
The CDC, whenever there's extremely positive news out from the CDC themselves will bury it, right? Like 94% of people that had COVID, that died with COVID, actually died with it, not of it. They just bury that. But how many times have we heard this variant's going to change? Oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. Stop. Just stop scaring people. Stop scaring people. Stop. Just 91% of the news on COVID, either from the mainstream media, the CDC, is negative. Not positive. Not positive. By the way, we release on our Facebook page the actual numbers. And if you see the hospitalizations are going down, the deaths have gone down quite a bit. Why? Because we know how to treat it now. It is absolutely... mutated itself. There's no doubt about it. We talked to people in the beginning who had a real tough case of it, some younger folks. Nobody young is dying from this thing anymore. Nobody. Not that there was a lot in the beginning, because there wasn't.
Not really.
But nobody young is dying from this. You know who's dying from this? People with pre-existing conditions that are 85 years old.
But here's what they've done now to continue to boost the numbers. And what the CDC recently came out and said was,
that's sickening,
if you die within 30 days of a COVID diagnosis, you will be counted as COVID. So it's worse than just saying, well, you died from something else. George Floyd likely did not die from COVID. He had COVID, but I don't think that anyone would make the argument that COVID was what pushed him over the edge, right?
Could have been the drugs in his body.
Could have been the fentanyl. Could have been the police officer. Maybe a combination of the two.
Probably not COVID.
Probably not COVID.
Yeah.
But now it's worse, though. Now it's not like, oh, the guy got into a head-on motorcycle accident, died, but he had COVID. Now
he had it 30 days ago.
Right. Now if you had COVID, you've recovered from it. You've come back to work, but now you're completely done. You're over it. You're no longer contagious, right? You're driving to work, and God forbid you get into a head-on car crash and you die. And they look back and they say, well, he was diagnosed 29 days ago. Well, I guess we'll put him out as COVID.
Yep.
Think about that. The thing is, we will never really know what the damage really is.
No.
How much was it was flu? How much of it was pneumonia?
No.
How much of it was other things like car accidents or motorcycle accidents or fentanyl or any of those other things? Sadly, suicide, right?
We do know one thing. The numbers are BS.
Man.
That we do know. The numbers are garbage. And
so this... Yeah,
and they're big time garbage.
Let's end with this. This is from Rudy Giuliani yesterday. He nails it. Is Congress a joke? Tomorrow the Senate will commence a proceeding to remove a person from an office that he no longer occupies.
By the way,
nice job. By the way, you get your check yet? Get your check yet?
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
Nobody.
So not that I believe in these stimulus checks because the way they're handing them out is like chocolate on Halloween. But but no stimulus checks, right? You've got a president who can't figure out the vaccines and the distribution of it. Right?
Lost 20 million doses.
Lost 20 million doses. And now he's saying by summer he thinks we can vaccinate 300 people, right? But yet they're spending their time right now. They're spending their time right now
Got a sham
trying to get rid of a president who they've already gotten rid of, right? What does he know, folks? That's what you need to ask yourself.
Seriously.
What does he know? And Donald Trump's been pretty quiet. I know they've cut him off of Twitter, and there's he's
doing something.
He's been holding himself back. Is it possible, by the way, that Trump can actually do more to drain the swamp in the next 12 months by being out of office and in it? I hope so.
Here's the thing, and it's not just Democrats, folks. It's not just Democrats.
No, the Republicans
Why is Mitch McConnell going along with this?
Yeah, why is Romney going 3,000?
Yep,
I'll take 3.
Okay.
I'll take 3.
What is Mitt Romney? I mean, his son also worked for the Ukrainian energy company.
That's right.
Could he possibly be complicit in this whole Democrat cabal of fraud and corruption? Maybe. I think half the Republicans, if not more. By the way, Liz Cheney, she's a peach. She comes on and goes, "Wow, Trump's not the leader of this party." Oh, Liz, I don't think you saw the recent polls. 64% of Republicans say they would back Trump over the Republican Party.
I think you're going to
That's 2/3, Liz. I got news for you. Without Trump, you're not winning nothing, Liz.
Yeah.
The party of Dick Cheney and George Bush is over. Because I'll tell you, this guy, and I'm pretty sure this guy too, we're not voting for the next. I'm not voting for Romney again.
No.
I'm not voting for the next
John McCain.
Not doing it.
No.
So you put up Jeb Bush, I'll sit home.
Yeah.
I don't care. Well, if you do that, Glenn, the Democrats are sure to win. I don't care.
Yeah. Well,
I hate to say it. I don't. Right? If you're going to put a Jeb Bush in there, he's the exact same thing as Joe Biden, right?
He's the same thing.
Good God.
Yeah, the Bush family is.
I don't care.
You just hope and pray.
It's worse, I
what
think.
Donald knows.
I think Romney would have been worse.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, he would be worse. Because at least from a market standpoint, at least we know where these Democrats are going to stand.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I might not like the rules, but they're going to tell you we are going
raising your
this
taxes.
way. We're raising your taxes. Blah blah blah.
We're killing your children.
Yeah, we're going to destroy your healthcare system, and we're going to
take away your jobs.
We're going to take away your jobs. And what does that do to the rich? Well, it says, okay, we're going to get richer. No problem.
Yeah,
we're going to lay off
this.
people.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day about, and I still can't believe this. It was actually a financial planner, and she says, we need to increase minimum wage. People can't live. And I said, but every time we've tried that,
Your license revoked.
Every time we've tried that, every single time we've tried that, we lose jobs. It has never worked. It didn't work when we went from $2 to $3,
No.
$3 to $4, $4 to $5.
Did you ask her why she thought people were poor?
$6 to $7, $7 to $8. Yeah. No.
People are poor because they don't work.
They don't
That's
work.
why they're poor.
They don't work.
The poor people are
most of
poor
those
because they
people-
don't work enough hours.
Or
they
most
don't
of
work
those
at all.
people are using those jobs to offset going to school, to offset their income. They're
course.
living with mom and dad. It's a way to get in, right? We will be 100%. The gap between the rich and the poor, mark my words, over the next 4, hopefully not 8, but 4 years, is going to get wider and wider and wider. It actually shrunk underneath Donald Trump. You know why? Because he was pro-growth. He cut corporate taxes, and a lot of those jobs came back. Remember when we actually did a show, and I couldn't tell you the months of it. It was Obama increasing the minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, mark my words, within a quarter to 2, you will see the unemployment rate go up amongst people, 16 to
25.
18 to 25. And sure enough, I'll never forget, it was like June-ish when we were doing these shows in Buffalo and we were showing the stats. And sure enough, that's exactly what 20% was the number. That increase in unemployment went up 20% from the increase in minimum wage. So
Not hard, folks.
No, it's
Cause,
not.
effect.
No.
Cause,
No.
effect. We can look at California. Cause, effect, right?
By the way, we have a video. We'll place it on our Facebook page.
Unreal.
In California now, violent crimes are up. Obviously, why? Because they don't get in trouble. Nobody cares. But there was a video. It was in Oakland. It says the sign you had.
San Francisco area.
Smash the window out, literally on the thruway. So they get out of their car, these dirtbags.
In traffic now.
In traffic. Smash the back window out of this car, grab whatever they want, go in their car and take off.
Yeah, petty crime in San Francisco is out of control. You can't leave anything in your car. Smash and grabs on parked cars is literally 50%.
Yeah.
It's like you have a 1 in 2 chance. Flip a coin. That's the likelihood that your window's going to get smashed, so they can steal something and sell it to buy drugs, which are mainly free. They get the needles and all that free.
Yeah.
So, but now,
drugs, by the way.
when you're driving, you're not even safe. If you stop in traffic, you better get your head on a swivel to see who's going to run up. They run up behind, they smash out the back window, and they grab a bag, hop back in their car, and take off. It's unreal.
Drugs, by the way, which 90% are coming over the border, which now we're going to make sure we take the wall down and make it less safe.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. On behalf
Welcome
of Mike
to the
Lomas,
liberal
Liberal
land,
paradise,
folks.
yeah.
Liberal paradise.
On behalf of Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. I guess hit the button. What do? Hit the
you hit the subscribe button, and that way when we put out new stuff, you'll get a alert that tells you you're getting it. If you like what you listened to or you saw, give us a thumbs up. That does help us a lot.
The
We do
thumbs
appreciate
up's
it.
the big deal. We need more conservative talk. We need to fight back. And our website, thefinancialguys.com, we do manage money for a living. We have a Medicare department. So if you need help with your Medicare turning 65, think of the Financial Guys. Home and auto, we have over 25 companies that we can shop to help save you money. And of course, financial planning, we have chartered financial analysts, certified financial planners, and registered investment advisors. Offices in Rochester, Batavia, Williamsville, New York, and down in South Florida for those of you relocating. Get out. I was talking to a client down in South Florida, and they said, I heard this rumor. Now, I have not heard this yet, but I don't put it past them. Andrew Cuomo is going to put a 5-year exit tax on New York State if you decide to relocate. I'm like, I haven't heard that yet, but
California's trying.
California's trying.
Yeah,
and
10 years.
Usually what happens in California, follows over to New York.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Could you imagine? How do you enforce that?
No.
California is saying if you leave California and then you go out and make $1 million somewhere, if it's within 10 years, they feel like they could follow you around and still have a right to your money somehow.
Even though
That's
even though
scary.
you didn't make it there. So
Right.
you relocated to get away from there. You
Right.
now made your money in San Antonio, and
Yep.
they want it back.
That's right.
And even though they don't deserve a penny of it, totally unconstitutional.
Liberal
but,
paradise.
But I'll tell you what, there's guards at the Buffalo airport right now. That's totally unconstitutional.
Yep.
You should be able to travel state to state. And by the way, New York has the most amount of deaths.
Did we mention that? Did we mention that?
Did anybody-
Highest death rate?
Highest
We mentioned
death
that
rate,
too?
right. It's not like
How's that lockdown working out for
It's not
you?
like 5 people died in New York State and 500,000 people died in Florida.
No.
Florida is 38% ahead from where New York is. And by the way, the population is 20% older. 20% older.
Right.
Should be more deaths. Half the deaths, pretty much.
Yep, that's
All
right.
right. On behalf of Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, we'll see you next week.